welcome. You've found your way here, to this quiet space, to rest and to listen. Tonight, we're going on a journey together, a journey through time and growth, through soil and sky, through the patient, beautiful life of trees. Before we begin, take a moment to settle. Find a comfortable position, one you can maintain for a while, where your body feels supported and at ease. Let your shoulders soften. Release any tension you might be holding in your jaw, your hands, your feet. There's nothing you need to do right now, nowhere you need to be. This time is yours, for rest, for peace, for the gentle embrace of sleep. Trees have been on this earth for nearly 400 million years. They have witnessed the rise and fall of countless species, the shifting of continents, the coming and going of ice ages. They have stood through storms and droughts, through fire and flood, growing quietly, patiently, ring by ring, year by year. And in their presence, there is something that calls to us, something that whispers of home, of safety, of belonging. Perhaps it's because our ancestors lived in trees, spending millions of years in branches, sheltered by leaves. Perhaps it's because trees give us the very air we breathe, oxygen flowing from their leaves into our lungs with every breath we take. Or perhaps it's something deeper, a recognition that we are part of the same web of life, made of the same carbon and water, sustained by the same sun, sharing this one precious planet. Tonight, we will follow the complete journey of a tree, from the moment a seed falls to the earth, through germination and growth, through maturity and old age, and finally back to the soil from which it came. We'll explore not just what happens, but why, the intricate science and the ancient wisdom encoded in every cell. We'll discover how trees communicate with each other beneath the ground, how they remember the seasons, how they create the very air and soil and climate that make life possible. This is a story told slowly, at the pace trees themselves grow, because there is no need to hurry. The forest teaches patience. A tree cannot rush its growth, cannot force a seed to germinate before its time, cannot make the seasons pass more quickly. The tree simply is, responding to light and water, to soil and air, growing in its own time, according to rhythms older than humanity. As you listen, you may find your mind wandering, drifting like a leaf on a gentle stream. This is natural, this is good. Let your thoughts come and go without grasping them. If you drift into sleep, that's perfect. This story will continue, a soft voice in the background, guiding you deeper into rest. And if you remain aware, that's perfect too. There's no right or wrong way to experience this journey. You might notice your breathing beginning to slow, matching the unhurried rhythm of the forest. Trees breathe too, in their way, taking in carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen, their respiration measured in hours rather than seconds. Let your breath deepen naturally, each inhalation bringing calm, each exhalation releasing whatever tensions or worries you've carried here with you. Imagine for a moment that you are in a forest. Perhaps it's a forest you know, one you've walked through, where you've felt the bark of trees under your hands, where you've looked up through the canopy at the sky beyond. Or perhaps it's a forest you've never seen, a dream forest, perfect and peaceful. The air here is cool and fresh, carrying the scent of earth and growing things. Soft light light filters through the leaves, dappling the forest floor in patterns of gold and green. Everything here is alive, growing, breathing, part of an ancient community that has thrived long before you arrived and will continue long after you've gone. In this forest, you are safe. The trees stand as guardians, their roots holding the earth steady, their branches reaching toward heaven. They ask nothing of you. They simply offer what they have always offered: shelter, shade, oxygen, peace. And in return, all they need is your presence, your awareness, your willingness to slow down and witness the miracle of growth, the profound patience of life unfolding. The story we're about to enter is both simple and infinitely complex. It's the story of how a tiny seed becomes a towering tree, but it's also the story of partnerships and communities, of adaptation and survival, of giving and receiving, of the delicate balance that sustains all life on Earth. It's a story written in wood and leaf, in root and seed, in the slow accumulation of years and the patient work of cells dividing, growing, becoming. So let yourself be here now, fully present in this moment, ready to embark on this journey. Let the concerns of the day fade into the background. Let tomorrow wait. Right now, there is only this: your breath, your body at rest, and the story of trees about to unfold before you like leaves opening to the sun. We begin where all trees begin, with a single seed, holding within it an entire future, a promise of life that will take decades, perhaps centuries, to fully reveal itself. The seed is patient. It can wait. And so we wait with it, in the quiet darkness, where all growth begins. Are you ready? Then let us begin. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Take one more deep breath, letting it fill your lungs completely, then release it slowly, letting go. And as you breathe out, let yourself sink a little deeper into comfort, into rest, into the gentle embrace of this story. The forest awaits. The tree is ready to begin its journey. And you are here, a witness to this ancient miracle, this patient unfolding, this beautiful dance of life. Let us begin. Close your eyes and imagine a single seed, no larger than a grain of rice, resting in the cool darkness of the forest floor. This tiny seed carries within it an entire future, a silent promise of life that will unfold over decades, perhaps centuries. Let us follow this seed on its journey, a journey that mirrors the quiet rhythms of nature itself. The seed lies waiting. Around it, the soil is alive with millions of microscopic organisms, fungi, and bacteria that have been preparing this earth for generations. The seed can remain dormant for months, even years, waiting for the perfect moment. It knows, in its ancient cellular wisdom, that timing is everything. Some seeds can wait for decades in the soil, patient beyond human comprehension, until conditions whisper that it is time. Then comes the rain. Water seeps into the soil, reaching our seed, softening its protective coat. The seed begins to absorb moisture, swelling slowly, and something remarkable awakens within. The embryo inside stretches, preparing for its emergence. This process, called germination, is triggered by a delicate balance of moisture, oxygen, and warmth. The seed has been waiting for this exact combination, and now, finally, It begins. A tiny root emerges first, always downward, always knowing which way is down through a process called gravitropism. This root, called the radical, pushes through the seed coat and into the soil below. It seeks water and stability, anchoring the future tree to the earth. Within days, the root branches, creating a network of fine root hairs, each one increasing the surface area for absorbing water and nutrients. These root hairs are so delicate, so thin, that they exist in that space between the soil particles, in the films of water that coat each grain of earth. While the roots reach downward, the shoot reaches upward. The stem emerges, pushing toward the light it has never seen but somehow knows is there. This is phototropism, the plant's ability to sense and grow toward light. The first leaves unfold, still tender and pale. These cotyledons, or seed leaves, have been packed inside the seed all along, and now they spread to catch their first photons of sunlight. And here, in this moment, the magic truly begins. The leaves contain chloroplasts, tiny green factories that will power this tree's entire life. Inside these chloroplasts, chlorophyll molecules absorb sunlight and use its energy to convert carbon dioxide from the air and water from the soil into glucose, releasing oxygen as a gift to the world. This is photosynthesis, the foundation of nearly all life on Earth, and it happens silently, constantly, in every green leaf. Our seedling grows. In its first year, it may only reach the height of your hand, but beneath the soil, its roots are spreading, exploring, seeking. The tree is building its foundation. It faces challenges in these early years that would seem insurmountable. A passing deer might nibble its tender leaves. A dry spell might test its shallow roots. Competition from other plants might block its sunlight. Yet the seedling persists, adapted by millions of years of evolution to overcome these trials. As the sapling grows taller, it begins to form wood. Inside its stem, cells called cambium divide and create new layers of tissue. On the inside, they form xylem, the vessels that carry water and nutrients from the roots to the leaves, sometimes over hundreds of feet. On the outside, they form phloem, which carries the sugars made in the leaves down to feed the rest of the tree. This cambium layer is where the tree's growth happens, a thin ring of actively dividing cells that adds girth to the trunk year after year. Each year, the cambium adds a new ring of wood. In spring, when water is abundant and growth is rapid, the cells are larger and the wood is lighter in color. In summer and fall, growth slows, cells are smaller and more dense, creating a darker band. This creates the annual rings you can see when a tree is cut. By counting these rings, we can read the tree's history, see the good years and the difficult ones, the droughts and the abundant seasons. Some trees and their rings hold records of climate going back thousands of years. Our tree is now 10 years old, perhaps 20. It has survived storms that bent its trunk, teaching it to grow stronger fibers. It has survived droughts by extending its roots deeper into the earth, sometimes 3 times as deep as the tree is tall. The tree is in constant communication with its environment. When insects attack its leaves, The tree can produce chemical compounds that make its foliage less palatable, and it can even send chemical signals through the air that warn neighboring trees of the danger. Beneath the ground, something even more remarkable is happening. The tree's roots have formed partnerships with fungi, creating structures called mycorrhizae. The fungi extend the reach of the tree's roots, accessing water and nutrients from places the roots alone could never reach. In exchange, the tree shares some of the sugars it makes through photosynthesis. This is a partnership that has existed for over 400 million years, and it has allowed both trees and fungi to thrive across the planet. But the mycorrhizal network does even more. Through these fungal connections, trees can actually share resources with each other. A large, well-established tree can send nutrients through the fungal network to its own seedlings or even to other species that are struggling in deep shade. Scientists call these networks the Wood Wide Web, a living internet connecting the trees of the forest. Mother trees, the largest and oldest, act as hubs in this network, supporting the forest community around them. Our tree continues to grow. It is now entering its prime, perhaps 30, 40, 50 years old. It has reached the canopy, and its crown spreads wide to capture sunlight. The tree is covered in bark now, a protective layer of dead cells that shields the living tissue beneath from fire, disease, and the hungry teeth of animals. Different species have evolved different barks, some thick and fire-resistant, some smooth and reflective to stay cool, some peeling to shed parasites and lichens. Up in the canopy, the tree begins to flower. This is a momentous occasion, the first time the tree is mature enough to reproduce. The flowers may be showy, designed to attract bees and butterflies, or they may be simple catkins that release pollen to the wind. The tree invests enormous energy in this reproduction, producing thousands, sometimes millions of flowers in a single season. Not all of them will be pollinated, and not all pollinated flowers will become viable seeds, but the tree plays a numbers game, ensuring that at least some of its offspring will survive. The flowers become fruits or cones or winged seeds, depending on the species. Each seed is packaged with food for the embryo inside and a mechanism for dispersal. Some seeds have wings and spin like helicopters, carrying them far from the parent tree on the wind. Some are enclosed in sweet fruit, enticing animals to eat them and carry them away, depositing them later in a pile of natural fertilizer. Some have hooks and barbs that catch on fur and feathers. The tree has evolved these strategies over eons, finding ways to cast its offspring far and wide. Birds nest in our tree's branches now. Squirrels cache seeds in holes in its bark. Insects bore tunnels through its wood, and woodpeckers follow, excavating the insects and creating cavities that will later house owls and bats and wood ducks. The tree is no longer just a tree but an entire ecosystem, home to hundreds of species, each playing their part in the great web of life. The tree grows older still, 100 years, 200, 500. Its growth slows now, but it does not stop. New rings still form, thinner perhaps, but steady. The tree has become a landmark, a witness to generations of human lives that have passed beneath its branches. It has weathered ice storms that snapped lesser trees. It has survived lightning strikes that burned a scar down its trunk, which it slowly sealed with new wood, compartmentalizing the damage to protect the living tissue. The tree breathes for the forest. Through tiny pores in its leaves called stomata, it absorbs carbon dioxide and releases oxygen. A single large tree can produce enough oxygen for 2 people for an entire year. Its leaves also release water vapor through transpiration, pulling water up from the soil and releasing it into the air. This process cools the tree and creates humidity in the forest. A large tree can transpire hundreds of gallons of water per day, effectively pumping water from the ground into the atmosphere, where it will eventually fall as rain. The tree influences the soil around it. Its fallen leaves decompose, adding organic matter and nutrients. Its roots stabilize the soil, preventing erosion. They create channels that help water infiltrate into the ground rather than running off. The tree is not separate from its environment but an integral part of it, shaping and being shaped by the forest around it. As centuries pass, our tree begins to show its age. Some branches die back. Fungi establish themselves in the heartwood, the ancient wood at the center of the trunk that no longer carries water but provides structural support. This seems like decay, and it is, but it is also transformation. The fungi break down the wood, creating cavities that become homes for animals. They recycle nutrients, making them available to other plants. Even in decline, the tree gives life. The tree may live for hundreds of years more in this state, slowly hollowing but still alive in its outer sapwood, still growing new rings, still flowering each spring. It has become a snag, what foresters call a standing dead tree, though our tree is not dead but transformed. It stands as a monument to time, its massive trunk gnarled and weathered, its canopy perhaps reduced but still green. Finally, inevitably, the tree falls. Perhaps a great storm topples it, or perhaps its wood simply becomes too weakened by decay to support its weight any longer. The tree that stood for centuries comes to rest on the forest floor, and a new chapter begins. This is not an ending but a transformation, as vital to the forest as any other stage of the tree's life. The fallen tree becomes a nurse log, a long mound of slowly decomposing wood that provides a raised bed for new seedlings, lifting them above the competing vegetation on the forest floor. The log retains moisture, creating a humid microclimate. It is full of nutrients, the accumulated wealth of centuries of growth. Seedlings sprout along its length, their roots eventually wrapping around and through the log, drawing sustenance from the parent's body. Insects tunnel through the wood. Fungi fruit from its bark, great shelves of mushrooms that spread their spores on the wind. Small mammals make homes in the spaces beneath the log. Salamanders hunt for insects in its moist crevices. The log slowly subsides, slowly becomes soil, its substance transformed and distributed through the forest ecosystem. What was tree becomes earth, and from that earth, new trees will grow. This process takes decades, even a century or more. The log weathers and softens. It crumbles and colonizes with moss. It sinks into the ground, merging with the soil. And eventually, there is no visible trace of the great tree that once stood here. except perhaps an alignment of younger trees, all growing along the line where the nurse log once lay. The tree is returned to the forest, its atoms redistributed, its energy passed on, its legacy living in the community of life it supported and now nourishes. And somewhere, not far from where the great tree stood, a small seed lies in the soil, waiting. Perhaps it fell from the old tree decades ago. Perhaps it was carried here by a bird that once nested in those branches. The seed waits in the darkness, patient and timeless, carrying within it the same ancient program, the same promise of life unfolding. The cycle is not a circle but a spiral, each generation building on the last, each tree part of an unbroken chain reaching back to the first forests, millions of years ago. Trees count time differently than we do. They measure it in seasons and rings, in the slow accumulation of wood and the patient work of roots expanding through soil. A tree's life is a meditation on persistence, on growth so gradual it is invisible to the hurried human eye. Yet trees are not passive. They respond to their environment constantly, growing toward light, away from obstacles, adjusting their chemistry to ward off threats. Trees communicate, as we have learned. They share resources through the mycorrhizal networks. They release chemicals into the air, warning of dangers or attracting beneficial insects. When a giraffe browses on an acacia tree, the tree not only makes its own leaves more bitter but releases ethylene gas into the air, and downwind trees detect this signal and increase their own defensive compounds, preparing for the browsing to reach them. Trees remember, in their way. A tree that has been browsed repeatedly as a sapling will grow more defensive compounds throughout its life. A tree struck by lightning will grow stronger supporting tissue around the damaged area. The tree's form, its shape and size and the thickness of its bark, is a record of everything it has experienced, every stress and every advantage, written in wood. Trees have transformed our planet. When the first forests arose, over 350 million years ago, they changed everything. They pulled carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and locked it in their wood. They created soil where there had been only rock and thin bacterial mats. They moderated the climate, cooling the earth and stabilizing weather patterns. They gave rise to the rich, complex ecosystems we see today. Life on land as we know it exists because of trees. Trees continue to shape our world. They absorb carbon dioxide, helping to regulate our climate. They filter water, their roots catching pollutants before they reach streams and groundwater. They prevent erosion, their roots binding soil on slopes and riverbanks. They create microclimates, their shade cooling the ground beneath them, their transpiration adding moisture to the air. In cities, trees lower temperatures, reduce air pollution, and improve mental health for the people who live among them. A forest is not a collection of trees but a single, interconnected organism, as integrated as any body. The trees, the fungi, the bacteria, the insects, the birds, the mammals, all depend on each other in ways we are only beginning to understand. Remove one element and the whole system shifts, adapts, sometimes collapses. The old trees, the mother trees, are keystone species, their presence maintaining the health of the forest around them. When we protect trees, we protect ourselves. When we plant trees, we invest in the future. A tree planted today will give shade in 20 years, will sequester carbon for a century, will support an ecosystem for generations. The tree connects past and future, its roots reaching into ancient soil, its leaves reaching into tomorrow's air. Think of the tree's patience. Think of how it grows one cell at a time, one ring per year, accumulating wood and height so gradually that we cannot see the change from day to day. Yet over years, over decades, the change is profound. The tree teaches us about slow, steady persistence, about growth that cannot be rushed, about the value of deep roots and reaching branches. Think of the tree's generosity. It gives oxygen, shade, food, shelter. It cools the air and cleans the water. It asks nothing in return but sunlight, water, and soil. The tree is both ancient and eternally new, each leaf unfurling each spring a small miracle, each seed a new beginning. The life cycle of trees is the rhythm of the earth itself, the breathing of the planet, the slow dance of carbon and water and light. It is a story that has been unfolding for hundreds of millions of years and will continue as long as there is earth and sun and rain. And we, in our brief lives, are privileged to witness it, to stand in the shade of these ancient beings, to breathe the air they create, to live in the world they make possible. So rest now, and dream of forests. Dream of seeds sprouting in soft soil. Dream of roots reaching deep into the earth and branches reaching high into the sky. Dream of leaves turning sunlight into life, of fungi connecting root to root beneath the ground, of birds singing in the canopy at dawn. Dream of the slow, patient, generous life of trees, and let their peace become your peace, their steadiness your steadiness, their deep-rootedness your rest. The tree grows, and grows, and grows, one ring at a time, one day after another, through seasons and years and centuries, rooted in the earth and reaching for the sky, a bridge between ground and cloud, a living testament to the beauty of slow, steady, purposeful life. Let this image carry you into sleep, into dreams as deep as roots, as peaceful as a forest at dusk, as gentle as leaves rustling in a soft wind. The tree stands. The forest breathes. The cycle continues. And all is well. Let us go deeper now, into the mysteries that trees hold, into the science that reveals just how remarkable these beings truly are. Close your eyes once more and imagine you could see the invisible, hear the silent conversations, witness the processes that happen too slowly for human perception. Consider the wood itself, the substance that forms the body of the tree. Wood is primarily composed of cellulose, long chains of sugar molecules bound together in crystalline fibers. These fibers are stronger than steel by weight, yet flexible enough to bend in the wind. Between the cellulose fibers is lignin, a complex polymer that gives wood its rigidity and resistance to decay. Lignin is one of the most abundant organic compounds on Earth, second only to cellulose, and its evolution allowed trees to grow tall, to reach heights no other plants had achieved before. The tallest trees on Earth, the coast redwoods of California, can exceed 380 feet in height. At these heights, the challenge of moving water from roots to leaves becomes extraordinary. Water must be pulled upward against gravity through the xylem vessels, and this happens without any pumping mechanism. Instead, it relies on capillary action, root pressure, and most importantly, transpiration pull. As water evaporates from the leaves, it creates a tension that pulls more water up from below, like an unbroken column rising through the tree. This column of water is under such tension that it exists in a metastable state, and if an air bubble enters the xylem, it can break the column, a phenomenon called cavitation. Trees have evolved mechanisms to deal with cavitation. They have multiple redundant vessels, so if some fail, others continue functioning. Some species can actually refill embolized vessels by pushing water back and under pressure. In winter, when freeze-thaw cycles cause numerous cavitations, deciduous trees simply shed their leaves and grow new vessels in spring. This is one reason why deciduous trees lose their leaves. The freezing would damage the water transport system too severely to repair. But why do leaves change color in autumn? Throughout spring and summer, leaves are green because chlorophyll is abundant, masking other pigments. Chlorophyll is constantly being broken down and replaced, a process that requires light and warm temperatures. As days shorten and temperatures cool in autumn, the tree begins to seal off the leaf, forming an abscission layer at the base of the leaf stem. This cuts off nutrients to the leaf, and chlorophyll production stops. As the green fades, other pigments that were always present become visible. Carotenoids produce yellows and oranges. Anthocyanins, produced in autumn as sugars become trapped in the leaf, create reds and purples. The brilliant display we see is actually the leaf dying, the tree reclaiming valuable nutrients before letting the leaf fall. The timing of this is regulated by photoperiod, the length of day and night. Trees have photoreceptor proteins that detect the ratio of red to far red light, which changes as days shorten. This triggers a cascade of hormonal changes. Auxin, the hormone that promotes growth, decreases. Ethylene, which promotes aging in abscission, increases. Abscisic acid signals stress responses. The tree is not simply reacting to cold but anticipating it, preparing for winter while conditions are still favorable. Winter dormancy is a sophisticated state. The tree is not simply inactive but has entered a protected condition. Water content in cells decreases, and sugar concentrations increase, acting as antifreeze. Some trees can survive temperatures that would freeze pure water solid. The cells dehydrate, pulling water out into the spaces between cells where it can freeze without rupturing cell membranes. This process, called extracellular freezing, protects the delicate cellular machinery inside. In the coldest regions, trees face another challenge: desiccation. When the ground is frozen, roots cannot absorb water, yet evergreen needles still lose some moisture to the dry winter air. Conifers have evolved needles with thick, waxy cuticles and sunken stomata to minimize water loss. The needle shape itself, with a small surface area, reduces exposure. Some species even have needles that can tolerate freeze-drying, surviving water contents that would kill most plant tissues. But let us return to spring, to the moment when dormancy breaks. This requires not just warmth but a period of cold first. Many temperate trees must experience chilling, a certain number of hours below a threshold temperature, before they can respond to warming and begin growth again. This prevents them from being fooled by a warm spell in early winter, which would be disastrous if followed by a hard freeze. The tree counts time, in its way, accumulating chill hours until the requirement is met. Only then will warming trigger bud break. When buds do open, they reveal leaves that were formed the previous summer, perfectly miniaturized and folded inside protective scales. The bud scales themselves are modified leaves, sacrificing photosynthesis for protection. Inside, the young leaves are coated with hairs or scales that provide insulation and reduce water loss. As the leaves expand, they grow primarily by cell expansion rather than cell division. The cells were already there, and now they inflate with water, stretching the leaf to its full size over days or weeks. The pattern of veins in a leaf is not random but follows mathematical principles. Most leaves show either parallel venation or net venation. Net venation follows branching patterns that optimize the distribution of water and nutrients while minimizing the length of veins required. This is similar to river networks and neural networks, examples of how physical constraints lead to similar solutions across vastly different systems. The fractal-like branching of veins ensures that no part of the leaf is far from a vein, allowing efficient gas exchange across the entire surface. On the underside of the leaf, usually, are the stomata, microscopic pores that can open and close. Each stoma is flanked by two guard cells that swell when they absorb water, causing the pore between them to open. When they lose water, they deflate and the pore closes. This allows the tree to regulate gas exchange, opening stomata to absorb carbon dioxide for photosynthesis but closing them when water stress threatens. The tree must balance two conflicting needs: carbon for growth and water for survival. In drought, the stomata close, photosynthesis slows or stops, and the tree prioritizes survival over growth. Trees can sense water stress before it becomes severe. Roots can detect the chemical signatures of soil drying out and send hormonal signals up to the leaves, triggering stomatal closure before the tree actually becomes dehydrated. This is a kind of anticipatory response, the tree preparing for stress before it arrives. Similarly, trees can sense the approach of herbivorous insects by detecting the vibrations of chewing or the chemical signatures of insect saliva, and they begin producing defensive compounds before damage becomes extensive. These defensive compounds are remarkably diverse. Some trees produce tannins, bitter compounds that interfere with protein digestion in herbivores. Some produce volatile organic compounds that directly repel insects or attract predators of those insects. Oak trees produce such complex mixtures of phenolic compounds that it takes decades for oak leaves to fully decompose, and fallen oak leaves can inhibit the growth of competing plants through allelopathy, the chemical suppression of competitors. In tropical forests, where herbivore pressure is intense and year-round, trees have evolved extraordinary defenses. Some form partnerships with ants, providing hollow thorns for nest sites and nectar for food, and the ants in turn attack any animal that disturbs the tree. Some trees produce latex, a sticky, often toxic sap that gums up the mouthparts of insects and can even trap them. Rubber trees produce a latex so abundant that humans have harvested it for centuries. Yet this is the tree's defense mechanism, its response to injury. Trees also defend against pathogens, fungi, and bacteria that could invade through wounds. When a tree is damaged, it quickly forms a callus, new tissue that seals the wound. Beneath this, the tree compartmentalizes, forming chemical and physical barriers that prevent the pathogen from spreading into healthy tissue. This is called the Coddett model, compartmentalization of decay in trees. The tree cannot heal the damaged tissue in the sense of regenerating what was lost, but it can seal it off and continue growing around it. An old wound becomes enclosed in new wood, visible in cross-section as a dark scar surrounded by healthy rings. The growth of wood itself follows daily in seasonal rhythms. Trees actually grow faster at night during the growing season, adding more wood in the dark hours than during the day. This is because photosynthesis during the day produces the sugars, and the transport and incorporation of these sugars into new wood happens primarily at night. Seasonal growth varies even more dramatically. In temperate zones, virtually all diameter growth happens in spring and early summer. By midsummer, the cambium has often stopped dividing, and the tree focuses its energy on ripening seeds and storing reserves for winter. The stored reserves are typically in the form of starch, chains of glucose molecules packed densely in specialized cells in the roots, trunk, and branches. As winter approaches, some of this starch is converted to sugars, which lower the freezing point of cell sap and provide energy for respiration even when photosynthesis has ceased. In spring, these reserves fuel the initial burst of growth before the new leaves are fully functional. A tree that has been stressed and has low reserves may fail to leaf out properly in spring, or may leaf out but then die as reserves are exhausted. Trees allocate resources strategically. When resources are abundant, a tree may allocate more to growth, producing long shoots and large leaves. When resources are limited, allocation shifts toward defense and reproduction. Interestingly, stress often triggers flowering and seed production. A tree that senses it may not survive will often put its remaining energy into reproduction, a final attempt to leave offspring. This is why fruit trees sometimes produce bumper crops after a stressful year. The size of a seed reflects a life history strategy. Small seeds are cheap to produce, and a tree can make millions of them. But each seed carries few resources and the seedling must quickly become photosynthetic or die. Large seeds are expensive, and a tree may produce only dozens or hundreds, but each seedling starts with substantial food reserves that allow it to survive shade or poor conditions. Oaks produce acorns, large seeds packed with starch, and oak seedlings can survive deep shade for years, growing slowly on their reserves while waiting for a gap in the canopy. When a large tree falls and creates such a gap, the forest floor is suddenly flooded with light. This triggers what is called a regeneration pulse. Seedlings that have been waiting, sometimes for decades, suddenly have the light they need and begin rapid growth. The race is on to reach the canopy before the gap closes again. Different species have different strategies. Some, called pioneer species, are adapted for rapid growth and high light. They have light, soft wood and grow quickly but don't live long. Others, called late successional species, grow more slowly but produce denser, stronger wood and can live for centuries. Over time, the pioneers are replaced by the late successional species in a process called forest succession. Forest succession is not a simple linear process but a complex dynamic influenced by many factors. The composition of the forest depends on what seeds are available, what the soil conditions are, how severe disturbances are, and how often they occur. In some forests, fire is a regular disturbance, and the dominant trees are fire-adapted species with thick bark and serotinous cones that open only after exposure to heat. In other forests, wind throw is the primary disturbance, and trees with shallow roots give way to those with deep roots. Across the landscape, this creates a mosaic of forest patches at different stages of succession, different ages and compositions. This diversity is crucial for biodiversity. Different animals depend on different forest stages. Birds that nest in cavities need old forests with dead trees. Deer prefer young forests with abundant understory browse. Salamanders need moist, cool conditions under closed canopies. A healthy forest landscape includes all these stages, a patchwork of youth and age. The oldest forests, called old-growth forests, have structures and functions that younger forests lack. They have large trees with complex branching that creates diverse habitat. They have standing dead trees and fallen logs in all stages of decay. They have multi-layered canopies that create microclimates from the sunny upper canopy to the cool, moist forest floor. They have mycorrhizal networks that have developed over centuries, connecting the entire community. These forests are irreplaceable on human timescales. Once lost, they take centuries to recreate. Yet even old-growth forests are dynamic. Trees die and fall, gaps open and close, species shift in relative abundance. The forest is in constant slow motion, a dance that takes place over decades and centuries. To see it, you would need to watch with the patience of the trees themselves, to see seasons blur into years and years blur into decades. Imagine now a single ancient tree in such a forest. It has stood for 500 years, perhaps more. Its trunk is so wide that 3 people holding hands could not encircle it. Its bark is deeply furrowed, scarred by centuries of fire and storm and the scratching of bears. High in its crown, branches support gardens of mosses and ferns, entire ecosystems perched in the sky. Its roots spread across an area larger than a house, anchoring into bedrock in some places, weaving through the soil in others. This tree has survived because it has adapted to its specific environment in countless ways. The angle of its branches sheds snow in winter. The thickness of its bark insulates it from moderate fires. The depth of its roots reaches water when surface soils are dry. The chemistry of its needles relieves deeters some pests while providing food for specialized insects that have co-evolved with this tree species. Every characteristic has been tested by natural selection over millions of years. But adaptation is not about perfection, it is about being good enough. The tree has trade-offs. Thick bark protects against fire but is energetically expensive to produce. Deep roots access water but require energy to maintain. Producing defensive compounds protects against some herbivores but not all. and those compounds require resources that could go to growth or reproduction. The tree is a bundle of compromises, shaped by conflicting pressures into a form that works in its particular place. And the tree shapes its environment in return. The shade it casts determines what can grow beneath it. The water it transpires affects humidity and rainfall. The leaves it drops acidify or enrich the soil. The tree is not merely responding to its environment but creating it, engineering the very conditions to which it must adapt. This is called niche construction, and it means that evolution is not just organisms adapting to environments but organisms and environments shaping each other. Consider the chemistry of soil beneath different tree species. Pine forests tend to produce acidic soils because pine needles contain acids that persist even after decomposition. These acidic soils favor certain plants and fungi that thrive in low pH, creating a distinctive pine forest ecosystem. Deciduous forests with trees like maple produce leaves that decompose more quickly and produce more neutral soils, which support different plant communities. The tree, through the chemistry of its leaves, determines the nature of the forest around it. Or consider the microclimate created by a forest canopy. Air temperatures under a dense canopy can be 10 or 15 degrees cooler than in the open on a hot summer day. Humidity is higher, wind is calmer, and daily temperature swings are dampened. This allows moisture-loving plants and animals to exist far from water, living in the humid microclimate the forest creates. Salamanders, for instance, breathe through their skin and must stay moist, but in a closed forest, they can hunt on the forest floor even on dry days, protected by the forest's self-created humidity. The canopy itself is a habitat, one that was barely explored until recent decades. In tropical rainforests, the canopy is home to a vast array of species that never descend to the ground. Entire food webs exist in the treetops, from the plants that grow as epiphytes on branches to the insects that feed on them to the birds and mammals that feed on the insects. Some species have evolved to live their entire lives in the canopy, leaping from tree to tree or gliding on skin membranes, never touching the earth. Even in temperate forests, the canopy is richer than once thought. Lichens and mosses festoon the branches. Insects overwinter in bark crevices. Birds glean insects from the undersides of leaves. Squirrels build nests of leaves and twigs in the forks of branches. The canopy is not just the top of the tree but a three-dimensional habitat, complex and layered. And above the canopy, the tree interacts with the atmosphere itself. Trees exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen, as we have discussed, but they also emit a wide array of volatile organic compounds. On a hot day, you can smell these compounds, the resinous scent of a pine forest or the sweet smell of flowering trees. These compounds can react with other atmospheric chemicals to form aerosols, tiny particles that serve as nuclei for cloud formation. There is evidence that forests influence local weather, not just through transpiration but through these chemical emissions, actually seeding the clouds above them. Trees also influence climate on a global scale. Forests are darker than grasslands or bare ground, absorbing more sunlight, which warms the climate. But forests also cool the climate by evapotranspiration and by removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The balance of these effects varies by region and forest type. In the tropics, the cooling effect dominates. In boreal regions near the poles, the warming effect of the dark forest absorbing sunlight may equal or exceed the cooling from carbon storage. This means that the climate effects of forests are complex and context-dependent. Throughout Earth's history, forests have been both drivers and responders to climate change. When forests spread, they draw down carbon dioxide and cool the planet. When forests retreat, carbon dioxide rises and the planet warms. The evolution of trees and forests in the Devonian period, around 350 to 400 million years ago, is thought to have triggered a major drop in atmospheric carbon dioxide and a global cooling. The coal deposits we mine today are the remains of those ancient forests, carbon captured from the atmosphere hundreds of millions of years ago and stored underground. In the present day, forests continue to absorb about a quarter of the carbon dioxide that humans emit from burning fossil fuels. This service is invaluable, slowing the rate of climate change. But as temperatures rise and droughts become more severe, forests are stressed, and stressed trees absorb less carbon or even die and release carbon back to the atmosphere. The future of forests and the future of climate are deeply intertwined. Yet trees are resilient. They have survived multiple mass extinctions, ice ages, periods of extreme heat. They have adapted to nearly every terrestrial environment, from tropical rainforests to boreal taiga to seasonally dry woodlands. The forms they take vary enormously, from tiny shrub-like trees at the Arctic treeline to towering emergent giants in tropical rainforests, but the fundamental processes remain the same: roots absorbing water and nutrients, leaves capturing light, cambium adding wood, flowers becoming seeds. And so the cycle continues, as it has for hundreds of millions of years. Seeds fall and germinate, seedlings grow into saplings, saplings into mature trees age and eventually fall, their bodies feeding the next generation. The cycle operates on timescales that dwarf human lives, yet we can witness it if we look. We can see the seedling sprouting, the young tree reaching upward, the old tree beginning to fail. We are brief visitors in the life of the forest, but the forest welcomes us, offers us shade and beauty and the oxygen we breathe. Rest now in the presence of trees. Let your breath slow to match the pace of their growth, imperceptible from moment to moment but inexorable over time. Let your mind quiet like the forest floor, where all is still and soft. Let your thoughts drift like seeds on the wind, released without grasping, trusting where they land. The tree grows in darkness and in light, through storms and through calm, always reaching, always adapting, always becoming. And in this, perhaps, there is a lesson for us, a reminder that growth is patient work, that strength is built slowly, that the deepest roots are invisible, that the highest branches began as tiny buds. Sleep now, and dream of forests ancient and eternal, of trees standing watch through the centuries, of seeds holding the future in their small, hard shells. Dream of roots and branches, earth and sky, the slow turning of seasons, the patient accumulation of rings. Dream of the tree's quiet wisdom, its generous spirit, its enduring presence. The forest breathes. The tree stands. Time passes like water, like light through leaves. And in the morning, the cycle continues, as it always has, as it always will. Let us linger a while longer in the world of trees, for there is still more to understand, more marvels to contemplate as you drift towards sleep. The life of trees extends beyond the individual, beyond even the forest, into deep time and the very fabric of life on Earth. Consider for a moment the age of trees as a lineage. The first tree-like plants appeared in the Devonian period, some 385 million years ago. These were not true trees as we know them, but tree ferns and early seed plants that grew tall, with woody trunks, reaching toward the sun. The first true trees with modern wood structure evolved around 370 million years ago. Insects had only recently evolved wings, and the first amphibians were just venturing onto land. Trees preceded dinosaurs by over 100 million years. Those ancient forests were unlike any that exist today. The trees grew in swamps, their roots submerged in stagnant water that prevented decay. When they died, they fell into the water and were buried in sediment, layer upon layer, compressed over millions of years into the coal seams that powered the Industrial Revolution. Those forests grew during a time when no organisms had yet evolved to efficiently decompose lignin, the structural compound in wood. Trees evolved to be strong but also, inadvertently, to be nearly permanent. It took millions of years for fungi to evolve the enzymes to break down lignin, and in that interval, fallen trees simply accumulated. Eventually, white rot fungi evolved the ability to decompose lignin, and the carbon cycle changed forever. These fungi produce enzymes called lactases and peroxidases that can break the complex, irregular bonds in lignin molecules. This was perhaps one of the most important evolutionary innovations in Earth's history, as it allowed carbon locked in wood to return to the atmosphere and be cycled through ecosystems. Without these fungi, the world would be fundamentally different. Buried under undecomposed wood, the carbon cycle disrupted. Today, these fungi continue their work. Look at a fallen log covered in shelf fungi, and you are witnessing this ancient relationship, the slow transformation of wood back into soil and air. The fruiting bodies you see are only the reproductive structures. The main body of the fungus is a network of fine threads called hyphae, penetrating the wood, secreting enzymes, and absorbing the broken down molecules. A single fungal individual can span acres, connecting many logs and living trees, a vast distributed organism that is among the largest life forms on Earth. One such organism, a honey fungus in Oregon, is estimated to cover over 2,000 acres and weigh hundreds of tons. It has been growing for thousands of years, perhaps much longer. It connects trees and logs across the forest floor, sometimes feeding as a saprophyte on dead wood, sometimes attacking living trees as a parasite. The boundary between these roles is not always clear. The fungus responds to the condition of the tree, becoming parasitic when the tree is stressed and vulnerable. This points to a deeper truth about forests. The relationships between organisms are not fixed but dynamic, shifting with conditions. A mycorrhizal fungus that helps a tree in good times may become a drain when resources are scarce. A tree that shades out competitors may also shelter seedlings. The forest is a network of interactions that are sometimes cooperative, sometimes competitive, often both simultaneously. This is the complexity that makes forests resilient. There is redundancy, plasticity, the ability to reorganize when conditions change. Trees themselves are communities, not just individuals. A single tree hosts thousands of species. In the bark crevices, mites and insects find shelter. On the bark surface, lichens and mosses grow. These lichens are themselves symbioses, fungi and algae or cyanobacteria living together so intimately that they were thought to be single organisms until examined under microscopes. Inside the wood, beetle larvae tunnel and fungi invade. On the leaves, caterpillars feed, while on the leaf surfaces, bacteria and yeasts grow in invisible films. Even inside the tree cells, there are partnerships. The chloroplasts that perform photosynthesis were once free-living cyanobacteria that were engulfed by an ancestral plant cell over 1 billion years ago. Rather than being digested, they became permanent residents, exchanging the products of photosynthesis for the protection and resources the cell provided. This endosymbiosis is why plants can convert sunlight into food. They carry within every cell the descendants of ancient bacteria, now so integrated that they cannot survive independently. This is a reminder that life is fundamentally interconnected. The boundaries we draw between individuals, between species, are real but also somewhat arbitrary. Life is networks within networks, partnerships and conflicts layered and intertwined. The tree is a nexus in these networks, a living architecture that hosts and connects countless other lives. Think of the specific relationships trees form with specific animals. Fig trees and fig wasps have co-evolved for millions of years, each species of fig pollinated by a specific species of wasp, and each wasp species able to reproduce only inside the figs of its partner tree. The female wasp crawls into the developing fig, loses her wings in the process, and lays eggs while pollinating the flowers inside. The larvae develop inside, and the next generation of wasps emerges, mates, and the females fly off to find another fig tree. Neither fig nor wasp can complete their life cycle without the other. Similarly, acacia trees in Africa and Australia have intimate relationships with ants. The tree provides hollow thorns for nests and nectar glands for food, and the ants attack any herbivore that touches the tree. Some acacia-ant relationships are so tight that the ants prune other plants from around the base of the acacia, effectively maintaining a clearing that reduces competition for their host tree. The ants benefit from a home and food, the tree benefits from protection, and both depend on the partnership for survival. These relationships remind us that evolution is not just about competition but about finding ways to cooperate, to create partnerships where the sum is greater than the parts. Natural selection can favor cooperation when it benefits both partners, and the natural world is full of such mutualistic relationships. Trees, with their longevity and size, are particularly prone to forming these partnerships, serving as stable platforms that other organisms can depend on across generations. The structure of wood itself is worth contemplating as you relax into sleep. Wood is composed of different cell types, each specialized for different functions. Vessels or tracheids carry water, their walls reinforced with lignin and spiral or ladder-like patterns that provide strength while allowing flexibility. Fibers provide structural support, their walls thick and their cells long and overlapping like the fibers in a rope. Parenchyma cells store nutrients and can remain alive for years, forming rays that radiate from the center of the tree outward. These rays are visible in some woods as flecks or streaks, especially in oak where they are large. They transport nutrients radially through the trunk, and our house-stored reserves move from the outer sapwood to the inner heartwood and back. The heartwood itself is not alive but is filled with resins, gums, and other compounds that the tree deposits as cells die. These compounds make the heartwood resistant to decay and give different woods their characteristic colors: the red of cedar, the dark brown of walnut, the purple of purple heart. Humans have used wood for its strength, beauty, and workability for our entire history. Wood was our first tool material, our first building material, our first fuel. We have shaped it and been shaped by it. The properties of wood influence the design of our shelters, our boats, our furniture. The availability of forests influenced where civilizations arose and how they developed. Even today, in an age of steel and concrete, wood remains essential, used in construction, paper, fuel, and countless other applications. Different woods have different properties suited to different uses. Oak is strong and dense, good for structural beams and furniture that will last generations. Pine is softer and easier to work, good for quick construction and carving. Balsa is extremely light, its cells large and thin-walled, useful where weight matters more than strength. Ebony and ironwood are dense and hard, sinking in water, prized for musical instruments and decorative objects. The grain of wood, the pattern visible when it is cut, reflects the tree's growth. Straight grain indicates uniform growth, while wavy or interlocking grain suggests the tree responded to mechanical stress, growing fibers and patterns that add strength in multiple directions. Burls, abnormal growths on the trunk, produce wood with wild, swirling grain patterns prized for veneers. Spalted wood, stained by fungi, shows dark lines where different fungal colonies met and formed defensive barriers against each other. When we use wood, we are handling something that was once alive, that grew cell by cell, ring by ring, responding to sun and rain and wind. Each board has a history written in its grain, a record of the tree's life. There is something profound in this, a connection to the living world that is lost with synthetic materials. Perhaps this is why wood in a room makes it feel warmer, more alive. We respond to it instinctively, recognizing in its patterns something organic, something real. But let us return from the world of humans to the world of trees, to the forest at night, when the sunlight has faded and photosynthesis has paused. The forest at night is not silent but filled with sounds we do not usually hear: the rustling of small mammals in the leaf litter, the calls of owls, the chirping of crickets, the soft sound of wind in the branches. And beneath these sounds, there are processes continuing, invisible and silent. Respiration continues. Trees, like all living things, break down sugars to release energy, consuming oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide. During the day, photosynthesis produces far more oxygen than respiration consumes. But at night, in the dark, trees are net consumers of oxygen. This is why dense forests at night can have slightly less oxygen than during the day, though the difference is small and not noticeable to humans. Growth continues, as we mentioned earlier, with many trees adding more wood at night than during the day. The sugars made during the day are transported to the cambium and incorporated into new cells through the night. If you could measure carefully enough, you could detect the tree's trunk expanding, micrometers per hour, a swelling so slight as to be imperceptible but real and continuous. Roots grow at night as well, pushing through the soil, extending the tree's reach. Root growth is concentrated at the root tips, where a cap of cells pushes through the soil like a tiny bulldozer. Behind the cap, cells elongate, and further back, root hairs emerge, delicate projections that vastly increase the surface area for absorption. These root hairs are ephemeral, lasting only days or weeks before being sloughed off and replaced. The root tip is constantly moving into new soil, leaving behind a zone of mature root that serves for transport and structural support. Roots sense their environment with remarkable sophistication. They grow toward water and nutrients, a phenomenon called hydrotropism and chemotropism. They grow away from obstacles when possible, or around them when necessary. They sense gravity, always growing downward, and they sense the presence of other roots. When a root encounters the root of the same tree, it typically stops growing in that direction, avoiding competition with itself. When it encounters a root from a different tree, it may grow alongside it, or compete, depending on nutrient availability. There is even evidence that roots can recognize kin. In some species, when roots encounter roots from a sibling or parent tree, they are less competitive than when they encounter roots from unrelated trees. This suggests a level of recognition, an ability to distinguish self from other, even below ground where visual cues are absent. The mechanism is not fully understood but may involve chemical signals, patterns of volatile compounds or root exudates that differ between related and unrelated trees. The soil itself is an environment as complex as any ecosystem above ground. A single teaspoon of healthy forest soil contains billions of bacteria, meters of fungal hyphae, thousands of protozoa, nematodes, and other microscopic organisms. These organisms form a food web, the soil food web, with bacteria and fungi at the base, consuming dead organic matter, and progressively larger organisms feeding on them. This web breaks down dead leaves, wood, and roots, releasing nutrients that plants can absorb. Without this decomposition, nutrients would remain locked in dead tissue, and plant growth would slow or cease. The tree feeds the soil community. Its roots exude sugars, amino acids, and other compounds into the rhizosphere, the zone of soil immediately around the roots. This exudation is not waste but an investment. The tree is feeding bacteria and fungi that in turn make nutrients available or protect against pathogens. As much as 30% of the carbon a tree fixes through photosynthesis may be transferred below ground, some into roots and mycorrhizae, some exuded into the soil. This is a massive subsidy to the soil ecosystem, energy from the sun channeled into the dark world below ground. In this way, the tree is a bridge, a conduit between earth and sky, between the energy of the sun and the chemistry of the soil, between the atmosphere above and the depths below. The tree takes carbon dioxide from the air and fixes it into sugars, some of which become wood and rise into the canopy, some of which descend into the roots and then into the soil, feeding the underground community. It takes water and minerals from the soil and transpires the water into the air, completing cycles that span from deep earth to the upper atmosphere. These cycles operate on timescales from seconds to centuries. Water can move from soil to leaf to air in a single day. Carbon can be fixed in the morning and respired away by bacteria that night, or it can be incorporated into wood that lasts for centuries, or into humus that persists for millennia. The tree participates in all these cycles, fast and slow, cycling elements through its body, connecting timescales that otherwise would be separate. This is part of the tree's role in the ecosystem, part of why forests matter so much. They are not just collections of organisms but systems that regulate flows of energy, water, and nutrients. They buffer extremes, storing water during wet periods and releasing it during dry, storing carbon and releasing oxygen, moderating temperatures and humidity. They create conditions that allow a diversity of life to exist, providing habitat, food, and environmental regulation. And they do this not through conscious effort but through the simple fact of their existence, through the processes of growth and metabolism that define what it means to be a tree. The tree does not intend to provide oxygen or habitat or climate regulation. These are emergent properties of its biology. Yet the effects are real and profound, and we and countless other species benefit from them. Rest now with this thought: the tree gives without intending to give, supports without trying to support, creates beauty without awareness of beauty. It simply is, growing according to its nature, and in being itself, it becomes essential to the world. Perhaps there is wisdom here, a gentleness that we can carry into sleep. As you settle deeper into rest, consider how trees remember. Not consciously, not as we remember, but in their form, in their chemistry, in the way they grow. Every experience leaves its mark, and the tree carries these marks through its life. A tree remembers the wind. If a young tree grows in a windy location, it develops reaction wood, special tissue that adds strength in the direction stress is applied. In conifers, this is called compression wood, formed on the side being pushed, thickening the trunk where support is needed. In deciduous trees, it is tension wood, formed on the opposite side, pulling against the force. The tree feels the mechanical stress and responds, growing stronger where strength is required. Years later, even if the wind abates, the tree retains this strength, its form shaped by forces no longer present. A tree remembers drought. After surviving a severe drought, a tree may develop deeper roots, accessing water sources it hadn't needed before. It may produce thicker cuticles on its leaves, reducing water loss. It may adjust the density of stomata, the pores that control gas exchange. These changes persist, making the tree more resilient to future droughts. The tree has learned, in its cellular way, to prepare for what it has experienced before. A tree remembers seasons through vernalization, the requirement for cold before spring growth can begin. This memory is molecular, involving chemical modifications to DNA that accumulate during exposure to cold. These modifications don't change the genetic sequence but affect which genes are active, allowing the tree to track how much chilling it has received. Only when sufficient cold has been accumulated can warming trigger growth. The tree counts winter, remembering through chemistry when spring should arrive. Trees remember through their growth rings, as we have discussed, but these rings record more than just age. They record climate, with wide rings in favorable years and narrow rings in difficult ones. They record fires, with scars and distorted rings where flames burn the cambium. They record insect outbreaks, when defoliation reduced photosynthesis and growth slowed. They record exceptional years, when everything was perfect and the tree grew as it rarely does. Scientists use these rings to reconstruct past climates, measuring ring widths in ancient trees or in beams from old buildings. By matching patterns of wide and narrow rings, they can date wood precisely and build chronologies extending back thousands of years. Bristlecone pines in California have provided records going back nearly 5,000 years, a continuous chronicle of climate variations, droughts and wet periods, all preserved in the patient accumulation of wood. These ancient bristlecone pines grow at high elevation, near the tree line, where conditions are harsh and growth is slow. Some of these trees are over 4,800 years old, germinating before the pyramids were built, growing still when humans were inventing writing, standing through the entire span of recorded history. They are among the oldest living organisms on Earth, older than any animal, older than any fungus we know of. To stand before such a tree is to feel the weight of time. Its trunk is twisted and weathered, much of the bark long since stripped away by wind and ice. Large portions of the tree are dead wood, bleached silver by centuries of sun, but strips of living bark remain, and through these narrow strips, water and nutrients flow, supporting a sparse crown of foliage. The tree has been reduced to the minimum necessary for life, yet it persists, growing perhaps a millimeter in diameter each year, adding rings so thin they can barely be measured. These trees survive in part because they grow where little else can. There is almost no competition at these elevations, and the cold, dry conditions inhibit decay and pathogen growth. The wood is dense and resinous, resistant to rot. When a branch dies, it may remain attached for centuries, hard as stone. The tree becomes a sculpture, shaped by wind and time, more enduring than many human monuments. Other ancient trees take different forms. The giant sequoias of California can live over 3,000 years and reach heights over 270 feet, with trunks over 30 feet in diameter. Unlike the bristlecones, which survive by reducing themselves to essentials, sequoias survive through sheer mass and protective adaptations. Their bark is spongy and thick, over a foot thick on old trees, insulating the living tissue beneath from fire. Fires regularly burn through sequoia groves, clearing undergrowth and opening cones, but the mature trees survive, scarred but alive. These giants create their own microclimates. The moisture transpired by a grove of sequoias can create fog, which condenses on the needles and drips to the ground, effectively allowing the trees to capture moisture from the air even in the dry season. The grove maintains higher humidity and cooler temperatures than the surrounding forest, creating conditions that favor the sequoias and the species adapted to live with them. In the wet forests of the Pacific Northwest, other giants grow: Sitka spruce, Douglas fir, western red cedar. These trees can live 1,000 years, growing in a climate where rain is abundant and decay is fast. Here, Survival depends not on resisting decay but on outgrowing it, on adding wood faster than it can rot. An old-growth Douglas fir may have a massive trunk that is partially hollow. The hardwood rotted away, yet the tree lives on, its living tissue a shell around an empty core, still capable of growing, still supporting a crown that towers over the forest. These hollow trees become homes for animals. Bears den in them, raccoons raise young in them, bats roost by the hundreds. The tree provides in its decay, its weakness becoming strength for other species. And when finally the tree does fall, it may lie on the forest floor for another century or more, slowly decomposing, hosting a succession of organisms from beetles to fungi to mosses to seedlings. In tropical rainforests, trees face different challenges. Here, growth is rapid but so is competition and decay. Trees race toward the canopy, investing in height rather than girth. Their wood is often softer, lighter, growing quickly but not lasting long. Lifespan is measured in decades rather than centuries for many species. Yet some rainforest trees, like Brazil nut trees, can live 500 years or more, their massive trunks rising straight and branchless for 100 feet before spreading into the canopy. The diversity of trees in tropical rainforests is staggering. A single hectare may contain over 200 species, more tree diversity than in all of North America. This diversity is maintained by complex interactions, by specialized pollinators and seed dispersers, by pathogens and herbivores that prevent any one species from dominating. Each tree species occupies a slightly different niche, germinating in different light conditions, growing at different rates, reaching different heights, flowering at different times. This diversity creates resilience. If one species is struck by disease or pests, others fill the gap. The forest as a whole continues functioning even as individual species wax and wane. This is a key principle of ecology. Diversity creates stability. A forest with many species can withstand disturbances that would collapse a monoculture. Yet diversity also creates complexity that we are only beginning to understand. Trees communicate, as we have mentioned, through mycorrhizal networks and through airborne chemicals. But they also compete, shading each other, their roots vying for water and nutrients. They cooperate and compete simultaneously, partners and rivals, their relationships shifting with conditions. A forest is not a harmonious community but a dynamic equilibrium of forces, constantly adjusting, constantly changing. As you drift towards sleep, imagine the forest as a whole, all its trees connected below ground by fungal threads, connected above ground by the atmosphere itself, exchanging gases and water vapor, their roots drawing from a common reservoir of groundwater, their leaves filtering the same air. The forest is one organism in a sense, or perhaps a better metaphor is that it is one conversation, countless voices speaking and listening, responding and adapting, creating together something that no tree could create alone. This is the essence of ecosystem, the web of relationships that makes the whole greater than the sum of parts. And we are part of this web, breathing the oxygen trees produce, drinking water that forests filter and regulate, living in a climate that forests help to stabilize. We evolved in forests, our ancestors spending millions of years in the trees, and even now, forest environments calm us, lower our stress, improve our health. We respond to trees at a deep level, recognizing them as kin, as co-inhabitants of this planet. So rest now in gratitude for trees, for their patient growth, their generous giving, their quiet endurance. Let your mind be like a forest, thoughts arising and passing like leaves on branches, rooted in stillness, reaching toward light. Let your breath be like the wind in the canopy, soft and rhythmic, carrying you gently into sleep. The trees stand watch through the night, as they have always stood, holding the soil with their roots, holding the sky with their branches, bridging earth and heaven, rooted and reaching, still and growing, ancient and ever new. As you sink deeper into rest, let us look forward now, into the future that trees are growing toward, the forests of tomorrow that are taking root in seeds planted today or yet to fall. Trees are adapting, as they always have, to changing conditions. Climate is shifting, temperatures rising, rainfall patterns changing, and trees respond. Seeds disperse, and those that germinate in slightly cooler, slightly wetter locations survive better, shifting the species range gradually north or upslope. Over generations, natural selection favors trees with genetics suited to the new conditions. This is evolution in action, too slow to see in a human lifetime but inexorable over decades and centuries. Some trees will not be able to adapt quickly enough or move fast enough. Their ranges will contract, and some species may face extinction. But others will thrive, expanding into new territories as climate zones shift. The composition of forests will change, species mixing in combinations that have not existed before. New ecosystems will emerge, forests without historical analogs, their dynamics and functioning uncertain. Yet trees have weathered dramatic climate changes before. They survived ice ages, when glaciers covered much of the northern hemisphere and forests retreated to refugia in the south. They survived interglacial periods when temperatures were warmer than today and forests spread farther north than their current range. They survived the asteroid impact that ended the Cretaceous, when dust blocked the sun and photosynthesis faltered for years. Trees are resilient, their diversity and plasticity allowing survival even through catastrophe. But the current rate of change is unprecedented in recent geological history, and it is coupled with other stresses: habitat fragmentation, pollution, invasive species, diseases spreading to new areas in global trade. Trees face a gauntlet of challenges, and while some will certainly survive, many populations are at risk. This is why conservation matters, why protecting forests and planting new ones is essential. We can help trees through this transition, preserving genetic diversity, connecting habitats, reducing other stresses so that adaptation to climate is not compounded by other threats. There is hope in restoration. Degraded forests can recover if given time and protection. Trees recolonize abandoned agricultural land, first the fast-growing pioneers, then gradually the long-lived climax species. Within decades, a young forest develops. Within a century, it begins to resemble old growth. The forest heals itself, following the successional pathways encoded in seed banks and carried by wind and animals. People are assisting this process, planting millions of trees, restoring watersheds, rebuilding forests destroyed by logging or conversion to agriculture. Each tree planted is a small act of hope, an investment in a future the planter may not live to see. The tree will grow slowly, but it will grow, and decades hence it will provide shade, habitat, oxygen, beauty. The act of planting connects us to the future, makes us participants in the cycles of growth and renewal. Urban forests, trees and cities, are increasingly recognized as vital. They cool streets that would otherwise be heat islands, absorb stormwater that would otherwise overwhelm sewers, filter air pollution, provide habitat for birds and insects that can adapt to urban life. City trees face harsh conditions, compacted soil, air pollution, physical damage, but they persist, and efforts to increase urban tree cover pay dividends in livability and health. There are movements to bring forests into cities, not just street trees but urban forests, patches of dense planting that create forest conditions even in dense urban areas. These are spaces for people to connect with nature without leaving the city, places that provide the psychological and physiological benefits of forest immersion. Studies show that time in forests lowers blood pressure, reduces stress hormones, improves mood and cognitive function. The forest heals, and even small forests, city forests, can provide these benefits. Forests are also being recognized for their role in water cycles. Healthy forests capture rain in their canopy and soil, reducing flooding and releasing water slowly into streams and aquifers. They reduce erosion, keeping sediment out of water supplies. Protecting forests is increasingly seen as protecting water, and watersheds around cities are being preserved or reforested to ensure clean, reliable water supplies. The tree is a water tower, a living infrastructure more effective and far cheaper than dams and treatment plants. And forests, of course, are carbon banks. They store carbon in wood and soil, removing it from the atmosphere where it drives climate change. Protecting existing forests, especially tropical rainforests with their vast stores of carbon, is one of the most effective climate strategies available. Planting new forests helps too, though newly planted trees take decades to accumulate significant carbon. The most carbon is stored in old trees and ancient forests, which is why protecting these forests is so critical. But beyond their utility, beyond the services they provide, forests have intrinsic value. They are communities of life, evolved over millions of years, irreplaceable and worthy of existence for their own sake. The trees, the fungi, the insects, the birds, the mammals, all have as much right to exist as we do. The forest is not just a resource but a community to which we belong, a home that we share with countless other species. As our understanding of forests deepens, as we learn more about their complexity and connectivity, our relationship with them is shifting. We are moving from seeing forests as mere collections of trees, commodities to be harvested, towards seeing them as living systems, networks of relationships, communities that include us. We are beginning to understand that our well-being and the forest's well-being are linked, that we cannot thrive if forests do not thrive. This shift is cultural and spiritual as much as scientific. Indigenous peoples have long understood this, living with forests in relationships of reciprocity, taking what is needed but also giving, protecting, honoring. As we face environmental crises, there is growing recognition that these traditional ecological knowledges hold wisdom that modernity has lost. We are learning, or relearning, to see forests not as resources but as relatives, beings deserving of respect and care. In your rest, carry this thought with you: each tree is a presence, ancient and patient, rooted and growing, giving and taking, part of the great web of life. To harm a tree unnecessarily is to harm this web, to diminish the world. To plant a tree, to protect a tree, is to participate in something larger than yourself, to invest in life continuing, complexity unfolding, beauty persisting. The seeds that fall today will germinate tomorrow or next year or a decade hence. They carry potential, the future encoded in cells smaller than grains of sand. Some will grow, and some of those will survive, and a few will become the ancient trees of the future, witnesses to times we cannot imagine, sheltering species we have not yet named, participating in ecosystems not yet formed. This is the promise and the hope that life continues, that growth persists, that the cycle renews. Trees embody this hope, their existence a testament to the power of slow, steady, patient being. They ask nothing but the basics: light, water, nutrients, and time. Given these, they grow, and in growing, they give back far more than they take. So sleep now, deeply and peacefully, knowing that the trees stand watch, that forests breathe through the night, that roots spread through soil and seeds lie waiting, and life continues its ancient patterns. Let the thought of trees comfort you, their strength and flexibility, their endurance and adaptability, their quiet presence through time. Dream of forests you have walked through, of trees you have sat beneath, of leaves rustling above you and the dappled shade on your face. Dream of trees you have not seen, ancient giants in distant lands, strange species in unfamiliar forests, trees that grow on mountains you will never climb or in valleys you will never visit. Dream of the tree as an idea, as a form that life has taken, rooted and reaching, solid and flexible, home and community. The tree grows while you sleep, imperceptibly but really, adding cells to cambium, extending roots into soil, unfurling new leaves in the canopy. The growth is continuous, ceaseless, a steady, patient accumulation that over years becomes something monumental. And you too are growing, in ways you do not perceive, changing and adapting, learning and becoming. Like the tree, you are a work in progress, a being unfolding through time. Rest in this knowledge. Rest in the company of trees, ancient and wise, patient and strong. Let their peace be your peace, their rootedness your stability, their reaching your aspiration. The forest holds you in its quiet embrace, accepting, non-judging, simply present. Breathe slowly, like the forest breathing, drawing in, releasing, the rhythm of life itself. Your breath mingles with the breath of trees, oxygen and carbon dioxide exchanged. Your life and theirs intertwined in the most fundamental way. You are part of the forest, part of the web, connected to every tree through the air you share, the water you drink, the earth you walk upon. And as consciousness fades and sleep deepens, let the last thought be gratitude. Gratitude for trees, for their existence, their persistence, their generous giving. Gratitude for forests, for their beauty and complexity and the life they support. Gratitude for the seed that becomes the tree, for the tree that becomes the forest, for the forest that becomes the world we inhabit. The cycle continues. The tree stands. The forest endures. And you, held in this ancient presence, rest. And so our long journey through the world of snow draws to its gentle close, though you may have drifted into sleep long ago, and if so, that is perfect. If you're still here, still listening, know that you've traveled with us through clouds and crystals, through science and beauty, through the endless variations of frozen water that transform our world each winter. We've witnessed the birth of snowflakes in the cold heights of the atmosphere, seen how water vapor gathers around tiny particles of dust and pollen, watched as molecules arrange themselves into hexagonal patterns dictated by the very nature of water itself. We've followed these delicate crystals on their journey downward, tumbling through layers of varying temperature and humidity, each one recording its unique path through the sky in its structure, in its branches, in the intricate details that make it different from every other snowflake that has ever fallen or ever will fall. We've learned that snowflakes are both perfectly symmetrical and infinitely varied, that they follow rigid physical laws yet create endless beauty, that they are temporary yet part of an eternal cycle. In this, they mirror something essential about existence itself, how order and chaos dance together, how simplicity gives rise to complexity, how transient things participate in permanence. Let this thought settle into your rest. You don't have to do anything for the world to work. The snowflakes don't need your attention to form their perfect hexagons. The seasons don't need your worry to progress. Your own body knows how to rest, how to heal, how to prepare for tomorrow, all without your conscious effort. You can let go. You can trust in processes that are older and wiser than thought. As you rest, your breathing has probably become very slow, very regular. This is your body's wisdom, knowing what it needs. Like snow accumulating silently through a long winter night, your rest is accumulating, deepening, bringing you the restoration you need. There's no effort in this, no striving. Sleep, like snow, cannot be forced. It comes in its own time, settles in its own way. If you're still awake, there's no pressure to sleep. Sometimes rest itself is enough, lying quietly, breathing slowly, allowing thoughts to drift like snowflakes on wind. Your mind might wander to the things you learned tonight, to images of snowflakes and winter landscapes. Or your mind might wander to other things entirely, and that's fine too. Wherever your thoughts go, they're becoming softer, quieter, like sounds muffled by falling snow. Picture once more a winter landscape at night. Snow covers everything, trees, ground, rocks, buildings, transforming the familiar into something dreamlike. The moon perhaps shines through clouds, casting blue light across the white world. Or perhaps it's dark, with snow visible only as a texture, a presence, a quiet blanket drawn over the sleeping earth. The air is still. No sound but perhaps the distant call of an owl, or wind whispering through pine branches, or the soft sound of snow itself falling, a whisper so quiet it's almost imagined. You are safe and warm, watching this scene from within shelter, or perhaps you are part of the scene itself, resting beneath the snow like a seed waiting for spring, like a bear in its winter den, like the earth itself in its seasonal sleep. Winter is a time of rest, of conservation, of going inward. Even as we understand the science of snow, we can honor this ancient rhythm of rest that winter represents. The snowflake's journey from cloud to ground takes perhaps 20 minutes, sometimes longer. Your journey into sleep might take minutes or hours, and either way is exactly right. There's no schedule to keep, no destination to reach. Like a snowflake, you're following your own unique path, responding to conditions around you and within you, eventually settling into rest in your own time and way. The snow continues to fall in our imagination, in our story, perhaps in reality somewhere in the world as you listen to this. Each flake unique, each one perfect, each one temporary but part of something eternal. You, too, are unique, temporary in form but part of something that continues. This moment of rest is temporary, but rest itself is eternal, something all living things do, something the earth itself does in its seasons. As we come to the end of this long meditation on snow, carry with you whatever resonated, whatever brought you peace. The image of snowflakes forming in clouds. The silence of falling snow. The way snow covers everything equally, making no distinctions. The patient accumulation of crystals into drifts and fields of light. The transformation that comes with winter and the renewal that waits in spring. Sleep now, or rest in stillness. Let yourself be held by the night, by the darkness, by the warmth of your bed or chair. Imagine that you're a snowflake that has completed its journey, that has landed softly, that now rests with countless others, part of something larger and more beautiful than any single crystal could be alone. Together, all these snowflakes create the phenomenon of snow, and together, all your moments of rest create the restoration your body and mind need. Breathe softly. Rest deeply. Let go completely. The story is complete, but your rest continues. The snow falls, the earth turns, the seasons cycle, and you rest in the midst of it all, safe and still and at peace. Good night. May your sleep be as peaceful as new fallen snow, as deep as winter's quiet, as restorative as the dormancy that prepares for spring's return. Rest well in winter's gentle embrace.